Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. Likes, comments, and subscriptions, as always, are appreciated. Over the last 2 weeks or so, I've been telling you how obsessed people are with one particular topic in the cryptocurrency space. So we're going to go over the news like normal, but I'm going to show you exactly how ridiculous things have gotten, just so you have a greater understanding of what we're dealing with every single day and why nearly all of the news is meant to make you afraid. Most days I'll tell you, I only have one tab open for said topic. I have everything open today. I'm going to show you explicitly why I think a large portion of the news right now is, I can only assume, funded and or run by people who are trying to get you out of the market. We've seen instances like this before. Once again, this entire FTX SBF thing is not new. We've seen this multiple times throughout the cryptocurrency industry. For some reason, this one is larger than life. Everyone's terrified. This is the Lehman Brothers. This is the Enron, whatever other word you want to kind of throw inside there. We've seen these moments before, and I think, are currently at the moment where you are supposed to be exiting the market. You are supposed to be the loose apple on the tree that is being shaken off to then be accumulated by whales. Because once again, this has happened multiple times. I've seen all of it. We've been through all of it. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says crypto market drops. Bitcoin drops below 16,000 and Ethereum falls by 3%. Huobi token is up by 12% as well. So a lot of people are announcing, or once again continuing the idea, that the cryptocurrency markets are actually falling because of the FTX collapse, FTX crackdown, FTX, whatever you kind of want to say. I think I mentioned it yesterday in yesterday's video as well. I'm beginning to see the shift, which is very great to see, but a lot of people won't let go of the rest of what's actually happening. So the shift is a lot of people, for some reason, were desperate to make sure that everything has been about FTX and just how bad it is and how awful. Once again, we're also going to go over all of that because I want you to explicitly see how desperate people are to make everyone else afraid in the market. But I'm starting to see normal news begin to pop up again, which is a very good indication that people's minds are worn out from one particular set of news. It happens in general. You can even, there was a documentary about it as far as even the events that took place during early 2020. Yeah, that one. For some reason, the human mind can only hold on to sadness and I don't want to use the word trauma, but this kind of feeling for only a short period of time before the mind becomes exhausted and then begins looking for something else new to kind of stimulate it. And this is where I think we currently are. But once again, the cryptocurrency market is down. It's being blamed on FTX. I'm going to show you exactly why it's not FTX. It says Bitcoin price trend overwhelmingly negative. Bears are targeting $13,000. If you've been here the last couple of months, you know exactly where this is going. Ethereum price plunges. Why ETH could soon dive below $1,000. Well, it's about $80 away from doing so. So, it seems completely logical that if all the markets are going to be dropping, Ethereum would probably more than likely actually do the same. I told you about 10 days ago that we were going to start seeing this news, and it's already begun to surface. It says Ethereum whales are rapidly accumulating ETH as crypto prices drop. This was said by, I believe, was it Santiment? Yep, Santiment. Santiment is usually the one who talks about whale activity. So the idea is every other time that we've gotten any type of negative cryptocurrency, bearish prices going to collapse cryptocurrency kind of news, I always make sure to warn everyone out there as best I can in a video. I cannot ever tell you what to do with your money, but please pay attention to the people in the cryptocurrency space who are telling you to be afraid and are telling you to sell your coins. Because what always ends up happening is as prices are dropping or prices have dropped, we always get whale news. Whale news being that whales are buying. Whales waited for the price to go a little bit lower. They began to accumulate, and we always get this news over and over and over. It's basically, and here's the even worse part. The same exact crypto YouTubers who actually told you to sell or to be absolutely terrified, they then began to make videos telling everyone how they had diamond hands, and anyone who sold did not have diamond hands. You know, the cryptocurrency market's not for the weak, even though they told you to be weak and to sell because they were expecting Ethereum to drop back down to $4 per coin. So just be aware that during these price drops, analytics firms are looking into it, and whales are scooping up as many coins as humanly possible. Don't forget the actual prices that we were supposed to be at if we didn't have so much fear and also the other stuff happening around in the world, which we're also going to be going over. These coins are incredibly undervalued. And even more so, I'll stick to just the top two because they make the most sense out of everything in the cryptocurrency space. Ethereum should be a lot higher than it currently is. It should be over 10K, and Bitcoin should be at least $40,000 to $50,000 just based off of actual usage of the blockchain from trillions of dollars passing through it. So I think the next step usually is we hear that whales are full. This may take about a good 2 or 3 weeks. I think especially as we go further into the holiday seasons and towards the end of the year, there's always like a general negative sentiment in general. It will have nothing to do with FTX. It will have nothing to do with anything else. Towards the end of the year, a lot of people are focusing more on family and friends, or simply the year is over, exhaustion kind of thing wears in, and we don't ever normally see prices pumping in December or towards the end of the year. This, of course, might be different this year. Who knows what's happening? I'm not a wizard. I do not have a crystal ball, but it's more so this is historically what has happened. And then we tend to begin to see a rise in the beginning of the year as optimism for the rest of the year begins to move back in. So once we get whale news, it usually ends up being we are in an accumulation period news. And then at some point we end up getting the accumulation period has ended because we can see that the largest wallets that were collecting the most cryptocurrencies are no longer buying. And this is normally 2 weeks. It's always the same. This is what I've been mentioning the last couple of weeks. I keep telling you, this is all a repeat of everything else that has happened this year and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that. It's always the same. Whales are buying. Whales are accumulating. Whales have accumulated. That was an accumulation period. Get ready for the next bull run. It's always the same. So this sets up the next 7 to 10 weeks. This is how the news always flows. So now we're getting accumulation news. And I assume by January, we should start hearing good things again because that's the usual ebb and flow of this space. Yeah, and it says XRP price holds ground while Bitcoin and Ethereum slide. Here's breakout zone. There isn't really one. It's a matter of the other markets also moving up as well. There's no significant scenario, especially in cryptocurrency right now, where everyone's so focused on everything that's highly negative that we are going to be moving on our own anytime soon. XRP is holding its ground, air quotes. I think it's only up by like 1 or 2%. While the rest of the market is down by 1, 2, 3, or 4% because there's a lot of continual news flow about the, about the lawsuit thing going on. And apparently there was an article that was written by the New York Times that was stating that the SEC declared that XRP was a security, but that was actually false. They didn't and apparently cannot do so. This is why they're having a lawsuit, because the judge is supposed to be the one who actually is able to claim and or write or say or back up the SEC in what they're trying to do. So the article was wrong. Everyone got very optimistic that the SEC doesn't have X power or X power, and therefore this is why XRP is moving up by a tiny bit right now. So as to, and this is weird to be optimistic about, but this is, currently where we are in life. It says U.S. stock market, the Dow and the NASDAQ slip as concerns rise in the country below Russia as Roro appears to be back. It is that time of year. We've seen this the last 2 years. Winter time, everything tends to get a lot worse. However, the country below Russia is quite intense in their activities as to how they deal with said issue. And if you had been paying attention to the news at all during the course of this year, staying inside your home is an understatement compared to what they do there. So you can look into that yourself. I can't say certain words on here because of the algorithm. A lot of people, I guess, who don't have YouTube channels don't understand how vicious the algorithm actually is. It hears everything that I say and it cross-references it with a list of other things. When you post your video on YouTube, it asks, it says, did you mention any of these topics? And you have to click no or tick no and say, no, I did not. Because if not, your channel usually, your video usually gets struck down. So this is why I choose certain words, because otherwise my videos would not be uploaded, because that's how the algorithm works now. For those of you who aren't on YouTube or don't have a YouTube channel, that's how it works. Everyone is quite terrified right now. If you look on this page, if you are looking at the screen, on this side of the screen, numbers 1 and 2, it is major news right now. They are a very large global world economy, and people are quite terrified that what was happening before in certain provinces may happen across the entirety of the country. And they've already been having problems just with certain provinces and people being like, hey, I would rather not do what I am doing and I would like to go outside. And people are afraid that that is going to continue. Stocks are down, oil is down, and Disney apparently is up because we are nearing the holiday season. I don't have an exact answer for you as to why. Disney is one of the very few things that is up. Also in the news, the other thing that is actually causing the cryptocurrency market to go down. That's why I said it's really weird to be optimistic about this news, because it's no more that we are collapsing because of the FTX, SBF, ABC 123 news. We are now recorrelated once again with the stock market. It did not take that long, thank goodness. The stock market is basically, because this is where we put ourselves. We put so much faith in all the billionaires and millionaires in the cryptocurrency space to take control over and become the whales of the market. We are now at the behest of the actual stock market. So as the stock market moves, we will be doing the exact same thing. The stock market is currently moving down. Why is it moving down? Because we are going to be hearing tomorrow from the Federal Reserve as to if any efforts by them have actually worked. Is inflation down? Have consumers been protected? Have companies been firing or hiring people? If you've been watching the news, companies have been on mass layoffs because they're not making enough money, because the entire world's economy is a disastrous mess at the moment. So I believe we are moving down based on the pessimism that the Federal Reserve is going to announce that they are going to continue to be raising interest rates, which is absolutely logical compared to everything that they've been doing, because they did not seem like they were going to be stopping anytime soon. And also just on the idea that inflation is probably here with us for at least a while, which means the Fed may continue their hawkish stance on everything that they've been doing. And therefore, companies not doing well, inflation going up, interest rates will also be rising as well. Stock market goes down, cryptocurrency market goes down. But we are mimicking the stock market now. We are not down by 9%, 18%, 44%. We are down by 1, 2, or 3%, which is exactly where stock markets are as well. Like I said, weird to be optimistic about it, but it's nice to see that we are, at least in spirit, lightly getting away from all of the Sam Bankman-Fried FTX news. So that's all the price news that we have for right now. Cryptocurrency prices are down. The entire world's market is down. So if anyone else tells you different, please send them this. If you feel the need to send this to another friend to explain to them why the cryptocurrency market or other markets are down, because a lot of times I still see a lot of people discussing on Twitter and or YouTube how disastrous X is, and this thing is terrible, and that is so-and-so, and these are the reasons why the cryptocurrency market is down. No, never forget, because of our actions in the last year and a half, we are tightly correlated to the stock market and will not be moving up until they move up as well. That's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. So this is the actual real news before we get to the you're supposed to be absolutely terrified news. Decentralized exchange Uniswap recently updated their privacy policy, and it appears to have attracted the ire of some members of the community, with concerns that collecting and storing user data works against crypto's core values. In recent responses to a November blog post regarding its updated privacy policy, Some vocal members of the community suggested that it is uncharacteristic for a decentralized entity to collect and store information about its users. In the 11th of November post from Uniswap Labs, it released around the time of FTX's collapse. Sure, who gives a crap? No one actually cares anymore. They said, with innovations around blockchain, Web3, we aim to reclaim users' privacy and choice after decades of internet businesses that have eroded it. They said, and continuing the quote, that's why we're releasing a new privacy policy. We want to be crystal clear about what data we're protecting and how we use any data we collect. Transparency is key. We never want our users to be surprised. One, we have seen an egregious amount of decentralized exchanges over the course of this year actually turn out that they were not decentralized. What? That's crazy. I told you all that at the beginning of the year. I told you a lot of these are companies. They have actual physical locations. As a decentralized anything, you do not have a location. You are simply run by hundreds of people around the world who are running a node to protect your network. Two, we are now seeing the actual true faces of these entities who are just here to make money. The idea of collecting data isn't simply because you want to help train your AI usually collect data to sell it off to other companies and or entities. That's how it works. This is why many platforms are actually free to use. This is why we heard years ago, Facebook is free and it always will be free. It's free for you to use and to roam around, but every single click, everything you write, everything you do is being collected, and that information is then being sold off to another company. So apparently they just want to collect the data of how much money is being moved around. I forgot what it is. Apparently they will not be collecting IP addresses and or names or addresses, but nearly everything else that you do on the platform will be collected in some sort of way, and no one knows exactly how that information is going to be used. I would not be surprised if at some point, this is speculation, but simply I would not be surprised, especially with all the regulatory scrutiny that we are seeing right now. I would not be surprised if Uniswap at some point had been contacted by US regulators who were like, you have to give us something, give us some type of data of the people who are using and how much money is flowing back and forth, and that's what this information is being accumulated for. I don't think that it's simply for their own systems. Usually 9 out of 10 times, if a company is collecting mass amounts of data from their users, it is usually going to be sold off. That might be their new business policy. So a lot of people are up in arms. I'm not really sure why. This keeps happening over and over. Everything that you believe is actually decentralized usually isn't. Always. It keeps happening over and over. So I think until we see, and you know what? I don't even use Uniswap myself, and I probably never will. But until we see a decentralized exchange that does not have a physical location, and we hear that there are 15,000 actual validators and nodes around the world that are running said entity, and therefore, like, there's no one who has control over it. Everyone has their own little fragment of control over the protocol, and it's also done by, decentralized voting, etc., etc. Then I'll probably end up using a DeFi platform. Until then, nope, they're all exactly the same. These are all businesses. These are all run by usually 4 or 5 or 6 people who have one of those photos like where they stand back to back and their arms are folded and they're looking towards the camera. It's always the same. They're always dressed in like either a button-up t-shirt that is like only halfway buttoned, or they have like a black t-shirt and like a normal belt and a pair of blue jeans. It's always exactly the same. Always run by the exact same people. So a lot of people are a little annoyed or, not too happy about what's happening, but this is what keeps happening over and over. And the machine will continue to break over and over until people get it. All the time. Right. That's the Uniswap news. Wow, can't believe that happened. That's so weird, as if that was never going to actually be a thing. All right. So here we go. Here's all the news that you're supposed to be terrified about. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I believe 19 different tabs. Get ready. Now remember, put on your scared face. You're supposed to be terrified at everything that I'm telling you, because this was all the news. This was the bulk of the news. I found the Uniswap news because it was quite popular. People were talking about it. They can't believe that this is happening. Why would Uniswap be doing this? Sure, why not? Everything else in the news was basically this. So everyone get ready. Everyone get terrified. It says the latest revelation from the FTX case reveals that Bahamian properties worth millions, millions, were bought in the company name, FTX. At the time, operated by Sam Bankman-Fried, His parents and other high-level executives at the company reportedly purchased at least 19 properties in the Bahamas over the last 2 years. Collectively, these purchases have a worth of over $121 million, according to a Reuters report of the official property records. Among the acquired properties were 7 luxury condos, while the residents of the condos remain unknown at the time of writing. The property deed claims that they were to be used as residences for key personnel of the defunct exchange. So, 1, this should not be news, and 2, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read in my entire life. Think of this scenario. I give you a company. This company happens to be worth $5 billion. Random number, cool. Congratulations, Merry Christmas, it's yours, $5 billion. What do you think most people do with $5 billion at their disposal? They usually tend to spend it. Once again, and I think FTX actually had more than $5 billion, but for the sake of argument, I'm giving you a nice round number. A lot of times, when you hear that there are certain celebrities out there, not even Sam Bankman-Fried, like actual celebrities, who are now worth $800 million, $1.2 billion, blah, 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 do you think that these people are renting out rooms in hostels? Do you think they're buying a studio condominium for them and their friends and their family? No, you buy gigantic property. Part of the idea of asset allocation and also diversification, if you have money, is to buy property. You should all definitely know that. That's a very big thing. People always tell you, like, make sure to diversify your portfolio. They used to tell you to buy some gold, to buy some silver, buy some stocks, buy some bonds, buy some real estate. This was before cryptocurrencies or even the idea that people realized that art was actually accessible to the masses. So the news is, and I assume maybe you're supposed to get angry about this. You're supposed to be like, I can't believe that they use their own money. These people had access to billions of dollars. Remember, like, I think 4 or 5 days after FTX first collapsed, we had news that Sam Bankman-Fried, I think he owned was it $20 or $40 million home? It was gorgeous. It was what do you think these people are going to do? Do you think these billionaires are going to be like, guys, no. We need all the money for the company. No, it's human greed. Of course, they're going to be buying beautiful, wonderful, amazing things. The same exact thing that you would do. Yeah, you. If I had given you $5 billion, tell me honestly, would you have bought a $100,000 one-bedroom apartment somewhere in a city that you didn't know just to save money? Or would you have spent $18 million on a 7-bedroom property? Yeah, I know. So this was also quite major news. Everyone was talking about how much money that they were spending as if it was supposed to be something frivolous. No, they had access to billions of dollars. These people were incredibly rich. Sam Bankman-Fried was already a billionaire himself. Remember the news? It was like, oh no, he's not a billionaire anymore. What do you think these people are going to be doing with their money? I will tell you right now, if I had $500 million, I'd be buying up some cities. Like, legitimately, I would find where to go and I'd be buying up as much property as humanly possible. Anyway, that's they bought property. How devilish of them. I can't believe it. Also in the news, it says, can FTX-like solutions be avoided? Yeah, probably, but humans are far too greedy for that to ever actually happen. Because I'm sure the next FTX is somewhere. It's bubbling right now. The pot isn't at boil. But we will definitely be seeing one over the course of the next couple of months, because it always keeps happening over and over. It's just a sign of human greed. Even more so, oh my gosh, wait till you see the other news stories that we also have as well. Because it's always this really weird, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it didn't happen. And then some people are being like, oh, we totally saw this coming from a mile away. But yeah, next time, can you warn people? Because I'm tired of hearing this, oh yeah, we knew how troubled they were, but you didn't tell millions of other people so that they could actually save their money from a crisis like this. So can FTX-like situations be avoided? No. If it happens in hyper-regulated situations and scenarios and regulated companies, we have 0 to no chance. So it's going to happen again because people keep trusting these people in the cryptocurrency space who look shady from the beginning. All the time. Like, these people don't look like normal people. Like, these people are clearly greedy monsters, but you trust your money with them. And I mean that not even just for cryptocurrency exchanges. I mean for projects as well, for coins, for these chains that you're constantly being, and you know in your heart that these coins are garbage. You know, it's just you have so much desperation that you want to hold onto these coins thinking that they're going to outperform Bitcoin so that you can outperform the market and cash out more money than your other friend who's also in the market. That's all that it comes down to. It's all down to human greed over and over and over. It says FTX must pay expenses incurred by the Bahamas regulator for holding the exchange's digital assets. For those of you who missed the news yesterday, so we had news that a week and a half ago that there was a hack on FTX, and apparently FTX wasn't hacked. It was apparently the regulators of the Bahamas who told Sam Bankman-Fried to allegedly break into, I don't know how they did it, into the exchange to take money out to give to the regulator so that they had to then hold it instead. As opposed to it being in custody of FTX, it was going to be in the custody of the Bahamas regulator instead. But now that the Bahamas regulator is holding the coins that FTX or Sam Bankman-Fried were forced to then give them, they're now being charged for the holdings. I don't know. I don't know how that's supposed to make sense, but that's just kind of where it is. Also in the news, and I think this news is meant to make you be like, yeah, that's right, you got to pay now, or something like that. I don't know. It's something stupid. It says South Korea, Singapore, and Japan are the top countries most impacted by the FTX collapse. A new analysis shows that countries most impacted by the collapse of cryptocurrency exchange FTX are South Korea, Singapore, and Japan. Moreover, Russia, Germany, Turkey, Taiwan, India, Egypt, and Brazil also made the top 10 list. They basically went down over the people in the countries who were using FTX. There's a sad photo of a man sitting down with his head down on the stairs. So like this, you know, oh no, I can't believe it. We're all supposed to be super, super sad. So they check the amount of people in each country who were accessing FTX on a monthly basis. And I think in South Korea, Singapore, and Japan, it was roughly around 100,000 to 200,000 people in these countries who were using it, once again, on a monthly basis. So these are the most impacted countries. Well, once again, reaching for straws. Pay attention. Every single one of these articles is desperate to try and continue to make you think about FTX as this gigantic situation. But the same exact thing happens with cryptocurrency projects. Don't forget that when cryptocurrency projects collapse, people in these countries are also affected. They also lose tons of money. However, as long as I've been doing this channel, we've never gotten articles about anything like that. Oh no, what? That coin collapsed and people in South Korea were affected? I would have never known that. Nope. It's only FTX because everyone is desperately trying to make this be the biggest thing in crypto that has ever happened. But this happens all the time. It happens every couple of months. You just got to pay attention to it. It says these countries were majorly impacted by the FTX collapse. Oh no, that's crazy. I can't believe it. People were affected by the collapse of one of the largest crypto exchanges. Wow, that's absolutely insane. It says Genesis is facing both liquidity and insolvency issues. Here's why. So basically Genesis had some of their money allegedly stashed with FTX and or Alameda, who were working together with Genesis. Genesis was a lending firm. Genesis mentioned sometime earlier, I believe last week, that they did not have immediate access to, I think, their funds, or they had some money with FTX. I forgot exactly what it was. But now because Genesis was having problems, we also had news that Gemini, the cryptocurrency exchange who had exposure to Genesis, also had to stop the withdrawals of some of their money, or I think it was their lending program. I believe that's what it was. So now Genesis, apparently people are looking to their numbers and apparently things ain't so hot. But also, hey, wait, here's some logic right here. Nothing's doing well right now. I don't think I have it here. Nope, don't have it. There was also news that Coinbase isn't doing well as far as like their stock has hit a new all-time low. It's almost like if the stock market and cryptocurrency prices have collapsed, that people aren't as interested in the industry anymore. Huh, that's weird. That's never ever happened before. So the amount of liquidity that these companies had before is probably 1/5 or maybe 1/10 of what it was before, because we've seen the cryptocurrency market prices fall. Historically, alwaysly, when prices are dropping, people leave our market. You know how like we always have the memes and the jokes, like nobody wants Bitcoin at 3,000, but everybody wants it at 20,000, because when prices are low, when people should be accumulating, very few people are actually buying or accumulating. So they're not on these exchanges, they're not on these websites, they're not on these platforms, and therefore their liquidity is going to dry up. One of the main forces of how these companies make money is through liquidity, through people using their exchanges. That's why we had news from Sam Bankman-Fried sometime last week. He's like, I wish I had never filed for bankruptcy. Why did he say that? Because if he had kept FTX on, he said people would have still been using it. And the normal money that a cryptocurrency exchange from people get when they're actually using the platform drips to the actual crypto exchange themselves, and they said they would have been able to pay off their debts in a couple of months. Probably the same exact thing for Genesis. If everything else is collapsing, they don't have enough money, of course the liquidity is going to go down. And they also recently mentioned, I don't know if I have the tab up here as well, that they're not insolvent, they're not going bankrupt, they definitely do have money. It's just that things are a little tight right now. People are like, oh, they're lying. No, they're probably not lying. You just said everything else is down. Everything. How many times do we have to keep going over that? It's not one thing. It's not two things. It's literal countries that are collapsing. We are witnessing the collapse of fiat currencies right before our very eyes. So, Genesis apparently is both facing liquidity and insolvency issues. It says Genesis bankruptcy jitters send Bitcoin to fresh low. That's a lie. A lot of the news today was talking about that the reason why cryptocurrency prices are down or why Bitcoin fell by 2% is because of fears over Genesis. Nope, that's not it. This is not Bitcoin. Genesis is not Bitcoin. I do not care if they hold Bitcoin, if they held Bitcoin, if they sold Bitcoin, if they're buying Bitcoin, if they are mining Bitcoin. Genesis is not the Bitcoin blockchain. Sam Bankman-Fried is not Satoshi Nakamoto. FTX is not Bitcoin. None of these things have no direct exposure and are not also Bitcoin. It can't be made any clearer. And I apologize for screaming, especially to my neighbors if they hear me right now because it is quite early in the morning. I'm holding back myself from cursing because this entire situation is so dumb. Oh, we're nowhere near done with the tabs. I made sure I made this video jam-packed because I wanted you to see exactly how ridiculous this space is. Every single thing does not have to do with FTX. Every single situation that we're seeing is nonsensical, and the fact that you would even have to be made to believe that you should be selling off your crypto or be terrified that nothing is wrong with Bitcoin. Nothing. Bitcoin is still slow. It's still working. It's still moving. People are still transacting hundreds of millions of billions of trillions of dollars. And the trillion is an actual number as well. That's the crazy part. If we had heard over the course of this that Bitcoin's mining capacity. Oh, also for those of you who missed it yesterday, Bitcoin's hash rate, like the people who are turning on their computers to mine Bitcoin, is at a brand new all-time high. If we were at 1/10 of that, if Bitcoin had fallen down to half a transaction per every 5 minutes, if we had heard that Bitcoin was on the cusp of a 49.999% attack, I would go, okay, guys, it's time to worry. None of those things have happened. If you sold your coins based off of the Genesis news, maybe Bitcoin is just not for you. Also in the news, what's this tab over here? Sam Bankman-Fried's crumbling FTX empire holds $1.2 billion in cash reserves. The crypto exchange FTX owes around $3.1 billion to its top 50 creditors. That was also, oh gosh, stupid news. That was also news yesterday for those of you who missed it. We had news about 10 days ago that FTX owed around $7 or $6 billion to 100 creditors, and people cut that number in half and said 50 creditors are owed $3.1 billion. That's what happens when you cut numbers in half. You get 50 and then 3.1 billion. And the people are looking into their finances and they found out that they actually have $1.2 billion in cash reserves. Doesn't that seem really weird? Wasn't I talking about that before? Didn't it seem weird to anyone that people were still able to take their money out of FTX? Wow, that's freaking odd. And he even mentioned before, he's like, no, we're not broke. We have actual cash reserves. But then he mentioned that people behind the scenes were telling him that the only way to protect the company was by filing for bankruptcy. This is why they don't have access to any of their money right now and why people can't take their money off the exchange, because he had to file for bankruptcy. Imagine if he hadn't done that, this probably all would have been swept away very, very quickly. Also, I'm still of the idea, this should have all been handled internally. This should have all been handled internally. I wish people would stop putting Changpeng Zhao onto a gigantic pedestal because he caused... How do I say this? I know for a fact, without even having to look into the numbers of any cryptocurrency exchange, there's at least 2 other ones right now out of the major top 50 that we have that are definitely doing some shady stuff. And everyone else knows it as well, but no one says anything when people are making money. When the engine seems to be running well, no one says a word until it breaks down, and then they go, oh yeah, I heard the carburetor was making noise last week. Why didn't you say something? Because no one says anything when things are going fine. All of this that's happening, we could have avoided all of this. Think of that. Like, let that really sink in to your mind right now. We could have had a scenario where Changpeng Zhao knew that all this was happening and actually contacted Sam Bankman-Fried and the people from Alameda and FTX and said, hey, you guys you are a couple months away from actually collapsing. Get your numbers together, get everything in line and in order, because it wouldn't have been that difficult for them to do so. If they were such a gigantic exchange and they meant so much to everyone, all they would have had to announce is that they're trying to raise more money. Or actually, for the course of a 6-month period, during the crypto winter, they were going to be raising their transaction fees on the exchange from 0.2% to 0.25%. That money behind the scenes would have been used to give them some extra capital. They could have even sold off some of their properties, which they also have to do right now to be able to do this, but because they're filing bankruptcy and they also have to pay money to the SEC of the Bahamas, they're in deep doo-doo. This could have all been avoided. Not even the idea that he shouldn't have done exactly what he was doing in the first place, but as far as like the actual crumbling and collapse and all this news that we've been getting, this could have all been handled internally. Remember, we heard yesterday, the people from Ripple were also looking at buying some of their assets, but they can't do so now because they filed for bankruptcy. There's also Jack Dorsey. I assume that Jack Dorsey, people from Coinbase and Ripple, and probably even the people from Cardano would have pitched in $500 million each to give to Sam Bankman-Fried to be able to purchase some of their assets. And it would have made great news. Ripple purchases a portion of one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the space. That would have been groundbreaking news. Wow, Ripple continues to expand, and we would have known absolutely nothing. And then 5 years down the line, there would have been some type of a documentary, because there's always a documentary about something. And we would have heard how the exchange was, kind of teetering at one point, but the cryptocurrency industry came together to save them, and everything went back up, and everyone had a really great time making money. But instead, this was a power move. It was used to destroy a cryptocurrency exchange that was growing too fast, and for regulators to be able to step in and say, now we have to protect people, because many of these regulators probably also had money in FTX as well. Because we also, remember, we kept on getting news that there were tons of people who knew that FTX was having money problems for months. Weird that no one said anything, right? Weird that no one helped anybody here not lose their money. Everyone had to fall into a pit and they go, oh, guys, yeah, I saw that hole like 5 months ago. I forgot to patch it up, but, it's just a hole. So anyway, yeah, they still have money. What? Surprise. That's crazy. So they weren't as bankrupt as everyone kept on saying that they were. Of course they still had money. I told all of you that before, just from the news that we were getting. Just from the generalized news that we were getting. I have no idea what these people's finances look like, but I went over the news and I told all of you. Also in the news, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever read in my entire life. It says Texas is set to probe FTX endorsements by Tom Brady, Stephen Curry, and other celebrities. So the idea is, for those of you who missed that sometime last week, there's now a class action lawsuit being launched against, I think, 7 different celebrities, and also against FTX as well, by celebrities who were promoting FTX at some point during the course of their career. The idea is, in the same level of dumbness as 2017, that these people were, back in 2017 these people are promoting unregistered securities, and therefore they knew what they were doing, so therefore we're going to get them in trouble. Celebrities, one, not only do they not care about us, but B, celebrities don't read through their own endorsement contracts. I don't know how many people knew that or did not knew that. So usually what happens is, when you are large enough and big enough and you have enough money, you have multiple lawyers who actually look through things. The entire idea of looking through a contract is to make sure that it's okay for your client, that they are not overexposed to any type of insanity as they're going to be advertising something. They're normally asked to advertise hundreds of things per day. I watched something before where one of the Kardashians was talking about like how many things she gets, like how many DMs she gets from companies per day, and also like how many like actual emails that her people get. She's like, it's hundreds per day to advertise all these things, and they comb through all of them. They find the one that's going to give them the most money. They have a lawyer look through all the topics and stuff like that, exactly what it says, what they have to do. 15 seconds sometimes. 15 seconds to make $500,000 as an endorsement, and then once they're done, they get paid the $500,000, blah, 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 blah. Everything's good. The problem is, once again, if FTX had not collapsed, there would be no probe into all of these celebrities. Why? Because no one says anything as long as people are making money. However, when something collapses, everyone looks for everyone else who's tied to a certain project, and they say, well, you are the bad person. You are the person who's going to be getting in trouble. There were tons of cryptocurrency, crypto YouTubers who had also endorsed FTX. I saw their videos. You saw their videos. There's someone who made a compilation of every single crypto YouTuber who endorsed FTX. That was when everyone believed that FTX, based on the knowledge that we had, was going to be just fine. How many crypto YouTubers have you heard endorse Kraken or Coinbase? As long as Kraken and Coinbase are fine, there will be no probe because people only care when prices have dropped down. Sometime last year, and I think maybe the year before that, Kim Kardashian and another celebrity had endorsed Ethereum Max. Do you think they know what Ethereum Max is? No. Their lawyers looked through the paperwork and said, these are the terms and conditions of you having a 15-second advertisement or showing a photo on your Instagram. And they don't even run their own Instagram. Surprise, for those of you who don't know that, celebrities don't run their own Instagrams. They have a whole team. You use the team to make sure that you massage your image in public, to make sure that everyone sees you in a certain way. There are teams for this. Elon Musk has a team of people behind him who tells him what to do online and on social media. It's the same for every single rich person. Look into it. Everyone has a team. These people aren't walking around by themselves. They're constantly told every step of the way what you can and cannot say. If something happens, they have a team who writes something for them and tells them what to say on social media so that they seem more sincere when an event happens. Do none of you know how money works, how celebrities work? It's the weirdest thing in the entire world. It's not that these people aren't at fault, because of course, Kim Kardashian, Steph Curry, and Tom Brady should have been looking into it. But did you expect, if we did not know how bad FTX's finances were, do you think that Kim Kardashian or Steph Curry or Tom Brady were like, whoa. I can't talk about this cryptocurrency exchange until I realize I have to make sure that Sam Bankman-Fried actually has the money to pay his people back. I know someone just laughed because it sounds stupid. So the Texas regulators are now looking into celebrity endorsements. But please, at the same exact time, look into every other celebrity endorsement. And I mean it. Every single other one, because tons of celebrities have sided with Binance, have sided with Ripple, have sided with Cardano. There was something earlier today, or no, even a couple of months ago. Charles Hoskinson is also hanging out with Snoop Dogg, and they just made a music video together. So please look into Snoop Dogg for hanging out with Charles Hoskinson, just in case the Cardano has any financial misery sometime in the future. Why are you probing now? What exactly are you looking for? This is all being done just so people can say that they're doing something, but they're not actually doing anything. What exactly will the regulator get from this? Did you want to know that they didn't know what they were doing? Are you expecting one of the celebrities to be like, oh yeah, I knew exactly. Yeah. Back in June, I saw the insolvency. What probe is taking place? Do you think these celebrities did this on purpose? No, they were trying to make money. It's what they do. That's the celebrity endorsement news. Once again, pay attention to all the FTX news that's all over the place. Also in the news, Genesis says it has no immediate plans to declare bankruptcy and is seeking consensual resolution based on the idea that they might be going bankrupt and stuff like that. They said, no, they're not going bankrupt. We definitely have enough money, but they're trying to figure out how to get more finances. And apparently they were asking Binance to try and help them, and Binance also said no because Binance is just making power plays right now. Also in the news, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin discusses FTX collapse because that's all that there is in the news. That's all anybody wants to talk about. It's the worst, most terrible, tragic thing in the entire world. Vitalik Buterin says that centralized anything is by default suspect. Yeah, probably, sure, why not? I guess it makes a lot of sense because, you know, that's just how things are, especially in a decentralized world. But once again, please make sure the next time you find something that is suspect, please let everyone else know. Isn't it weird that everyone is like figuring this out? No. We knew months ago. I saw the red flags. If you see the red flags, tell everyone. So that next time you can actually be a hero beforehand, as opposed to telling everybody that you saw everything you know. Like, what's going on in the space? Bankrupt crypto exchange FTX is exploring sales of its subsidiaries, its CEO has revealed. For those of you who didn't understand that sentence, basically, FTX has a brand new CEO. They kicked Sam Bankman-Fried out about 4 or 5 days ago. The company doesn't have a lot of money, as we heard that they are bankrupt or have filed for bankruptcy, but they're still chugging along and they're trying to make a new face for themselves with a brand new CEO. And now they're looking to sell other companies that they had also acquired along the way, which logically makes sense because I'm pretty sure they own at least 40 to 50 at least different companies in the cryptocurrency space, maybe other things that we don't know about. I'm sure they have a gigantic stock portfolio, which they probably can't sell off because prices have really dropped in the last year or so. So yeah, FTX is bankrupt and they're selling smaller companies that they were holding on to, but they probably will have a difficult time doing it because they filed for bankruptcy. So that's also something to look out for. Also in the news, it says FTX was under U.S. prosecutors' radar before the collapse. That's a definite lie. The most infamous crypto exchange in the market, FTX, has hit the spotlight again. No, it never left. People won't let it leave. Once again, I'm showing you everything because over the course of a day, I'll show you, once again, a couple of tabs just to let you know that it was in the news and prominent and people are trying to make you afraid. Nope, it's the only news. This time around, the exchange has made headlines for its relationship with the United States regulators. According to the latest report by Bloomberg, the exchange was under the U.S. prosecutor's radar long before it even collapsed. That is a lie, because why didn't you say something before? You realized that something was wrong and you told no one? You waited for this thing to collapse and you knew months before. You let people lose millions and billions of dollars and you didn't say a damn word? Notably, the investigation was led by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, with Damian Williams heading the case. The report stated that the office has been investigating crypto exchanges that have a presence in the U.S. and outside, and one among these exchanges was FTX. So everybody just knew. Everyone knew that all this was going on, but they didn't say anything. Remember all the other rich people last week who were like, yeah, we definitely saw the signs. The only two people who I believe is that person who we spoke about 2 days ago who said that, who was showing back in October that he said that something was wrong with FTX, and the other guy who was showing it back in March, April, or May. Only two people who I believe. And even more so, they're just normal Twitter people. So, yeah, apparently prosecutors were looking at FTX for a while. That's crazy. If only they had said something. If only things had been different. How many other under the radar situations are happening right now that no one's talking about, that no one's saying something? If you are a U.S. regulator, if you know a U.S. regulator, if your father's mother's sister's cousin is a U.S. regulator, please tell them right now, if they have any suspicions about these companies or collapses, to send these companies letters right now. Hey, bro, we've been looking at your finances and it don't look too hot. Maybe get your stuff together and we'll come back to you in 6 months to avoid another collapse. Why does everyone keep waiting for a collapse to finally announce that something is wrong? Remember multiple times when I kept on saying that every single time that the SEC was like, oh, now we got to regulate. They waited for something to collapse? Aren't you supposed to be protecting the people inside the United States? Why aren't you actually protecting them? In any way. That's the U.S. prosecutors knew beforehand. The Wolf of Wall Street says Sam Bankman-Fried was using FTX as his own personal piggy bank. If you get a chance, please stop listening to this guy in general. For those of you who did not see the movie Wolf of Wall Street, it's the guy named Jordan Belfort. He is a convicted criminal. We know for a fact, and even more so, and I say fact because he wrote in a memoir as to what he did to people. How he frauded them. We know that he has lied heavily before in the past, and I assume that he will probably or could possibly be capable of doing it again. So he keeps popping up in the cryptocurrency space because he's looking for attention. He started doing it a couple of years ago when he was saying that cryptocurrency was garbage. Don't forget that. They always do the exact same thing. Crypto is garbage. Crypto is terrible. Crypto is awful, until prices fall so that they can accumulate at a lower price. And then he told everyone else, just after how great and amazing cryptocurrencies are and how they could change the world. So I refuse to listen to anyone who's an actual criminal. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? Why would I give you all advice from someone who went to jail for frauding people out of hundreds of millions, potentially even billions of dollars? So yeah, we know that Sam Bankman-Fried was doing illicit things. That, I think at this point, he even apologized on Twitter. He was like, guys, I'm sorry. I was a bad boy. I'm sorry. These people who have done less than scrupulous things within the world are constantly making fame within the cryptocurrency space. And part of the problem is that people end up following them as if this man frauded people out of tons of money. Think about that. You want him to be your moral compass as to what to do in the cryptocurrency space? Do you think this man cares about you? Do you think you'll ever meet this man? You know the answer to both of those things. Also, it says FTX Japan may resume withdrawals by December. So apparently FTX had a whole bunch of other places around the world where they were also doing busyness. And apparently the one in Japan may apparently be letting people take their money out relatively soon, which also leads me to believe that they weren't as insolvent as everyone kept on saying. Anyway, those are the 19 tabs. Hope you all enjoyed, because I most certainly did. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Martin Steuer, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Rader, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman, Gabe, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, the Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quoted, Biddy, Troy, Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman, High XRP, Nostromo, John Sarson, Yanama Rita, Bibliophobia, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Nick Man, Gialavori, Jim Gardner, Jimmy Fox, Minting Coins, Jester Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Majonisa, and All Crypto with Lionel. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who's a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, a comment, has subscribed, who has purchased a ledger, who listened through the entire thing. If you're still here, hello to you. I wanted to give you a clear view as to all the nonsensical news that keeps popping up to make sure that FTX remains in your head to make you terrified. This is not the craziest thing that we've ever experienced. This has happened multiple other times before. But for some reason, this is being used as the, what do you call it? The powder keg? The keg powder. The stuff inside of the powder keg. That stuff. To make all of you afraid and to let you know exactly how terrible crypto's doing. It's the market's being manipulated in ways that I haven't seen in a very long time. So if you can, try not to fall for it. Bitcoin is down by 2%. Ethereum is down by 2%. Binance coin is down by 1%. Cardano is down by 1%. XRP is up by 1.93%. So I was telling you, like, we're down, but it's not like dramatically down. These are the exact numbers as to where the stock market is right now. We have re-entered the correlation period. Polkadot is down by 3%. Shiba Inu is down by 3%. Litecoin is up by 3% as well. I don't know where Litecoin is getting all of this energy from. No Litecoin news anywhere, but it's still doing well. Leo said Unis Leo is down by 10 percentile points. Uniswap is down by 5. I wonder why. Chainlink is up by 3. Algorand is down by 7 percentile points. Quant is down by 3. Flow is down by 4. Chiliz is down by 9. Anything else crazy? Oh, Huobi token's up by 7%. There was no Huobi token news other than the fact that Huobi token was up. Yeah. I do hope that you've all enjoyed this very weird video. I do hope that you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.